Before, on Dead, Mount Deathplay, the legendary hero Shagheera was fighting the necromancer, corpse god, in what looked like it would be the fight of the century. In the final battle, the necromancer uses a reincarnation spell. He wakes up in a world he doesn't know, where a hitman is trying to kill him. Even with all of these problems, he is able to remember everything and use his magical powers to deal with the hitman. At the police station in Shinjuku, Iwanom is telling his co-workers about the most recent case involving human knots. As members of a special force whose job it is to deal with people who might be paranormal. Over the years, they have met and caught a lot of people. Because their cases are so strange, they never make the arrests public because they know no one would believe them. But there are still 3 known troublemakers who haven't been caught yet: Grim, the Grim Reaper, the fire-breathing bug, and the Lemmings. They just added a new case to their list, which involves skeletons that were burned in a fire a few days ago. The special force is currently relying on the fact that a single footprint at the scene matches that of a lemming. They also think that the fire-breathing bug started the fire that made the skeletons appear, but they haven't been able to prove that the two are related to human knots. Still, they can't just forget about this possibility. The special force isn't sure about the skeletons because they think it would be hard to make up the amount of video evidence they have and the fact that the children were saved. They have solved all the other paranormal cases, which they think were done by people with a lot of skill. There were no real ghosts in any of the other cases, and they expect the same thing to happen here. At the building for torture, Polka was able to put original Polka's soul in a stuffed animal from the drone and give it back to Karuya. He says he's sorry for taking Shark's identity and promises to give it back soon. Enough. Misaki bursts in and falls in love with the stuffed animal right away. Karuya can't believe it. Someone who killed him could make that shark angry. Shark could talk if Polka gave him human vocal cords. To make them with magic, though, you would need a lot of mana, which is hard to come by in this world. There is another way to get mana, though, and that is to get rid of ghosts and turn their power into mana. Because of this, the building of torture is a better place to get mana than an old battlefield. Also, magic stones like diamonds and sapphires in this world could give Polka a lot of magic power and make him rich quickly. However, Karuya reminds him that these stones are very expensive in this world, while in his own world, even a child could buy one. Even so, Polka is determined to save money and buy as many jewels as he can for the good of all people. When he asks how much it will cost, the clerk tells him that it will be about 4 billion yen just for their shop. Misaki says that Polka could have taken mana from the stones through the glass, but Polka doesn't want to do that because she thinks it would be unfair to the shopkeeper because the stones would break and she has a moral code against stealing. Karuya suddenly sees Arase, a member of the special division, jump past Misaki and Polka and grab the drone. In the meantime, Iwanom finally gets to Clarissa. As soon as he talks about the human knots and the growing fire, his happy voice turns serious. He starts to think there might be a link and wonders how involved her organization is. Arase says sorry to Misaki and Polka for scaring them, but Misaki can tell he is bad news. Arase tries to talk to Karuya, but Karuya is thinking about acting stupid so Misaki and Polka can get away. But Polka tells Arase that he is in Karuya's group, so Arase tries to scare Polka into cutting ties with that scum right away. Polka turns on his powers because he doesn't want to be told who he can be friends with. He does this because he remembers being mistreated in his old world. In self-defense, Arase jumps back, and Polka is able to grab the drone from him. Arase is very excited because he thinks Polka might be the skeleton guy they've been looking for, and he wants to find out more about him. Karuya tells us that Arase is scarier than any thug, even though he is a special force detective. When Karuya worked as a spy for a street gang, he saw Arase quickly beat 8 of their best fighters. Karuya tells Polka through the earpiece that if he tells Arase about his powers, he could end Polka's peaceful life. Arase still doesn't trust Polka's decision to join forces with Karuya on his own, and she wonders if he got dragged into trouble. He wonders if Polka's parents ever told him not to trust strangers, but Polka's past is unclear because his parents sold him when he was young. Arase wants to know Polka's name, and Karuya knows that if Polka is linked to Clarissa, a full-scale investigation could be launched. To stop that from happening, Karuya calls Arase and says that Polka and Misaki are his gaming friends. He tells Erase to be nice to them and warns that any bad behavior towards teens will be recorded and put on the internet. Erase says in a threatening way, having some distance between us sure makes you arrogant. Karuya was the one who betrayed his old group of friends. He told them that he would do the same thing to himself and them both. Polka says that Karuya talks a lot, but that's better than what Erase is doing at the moment. Erase can tell that Polka is not an ordinary kid. He or she has the air of a boss who has been through a lot. He thinks Polka might be a soldier, but he's too young for that to be true. Polka doesn't want to reveal his true identity and wonders what Misaki plans to do, but she's gone and then suddenly appears behind Erase, knocking him against the wall and saying she did it in self-defense. She grabs Polka's hand and decides to run away with him. Erase knows that a normal child wouldn't be able to land a kick that hard. They run into the street, but Erase can't find them because they escaped with Polka's skeleton hand. Karuya talks about what happened with Erase in the past and thanks Polka for standing up for him. But he admits that Erase was right because he would turn on Polka to save himself. Polka, on the other hand, says that Karuya doesn't realize how valuable he is and that a friend's life is more important than any secret. Karuya wonders if Polka's stubbornness is a holdover from another life. In his past life, he remembers that the holy arts of the Guildwood Order could force people to confess against their will. This made the idea of selling out meaningless. Back at the station, Erase tells Ikawa to look into where Misaki walked. Ikawa knows them right away because they were important pieces of evidence in the human knot case. This discovery makes Erase happy because it gives him a case to work on. Other departments start to notice that the special divisions are acting in a way that isn't like them at all. Detectives hear rumors about how bad the Lemmings case is, and they know that he has a bad reputation for being dangerous. People say that he is a monster who will do anything to get a job done, even if submachine guns are pointed at him. He is said to have broken the necks of everyone he shot. The detectives know that Iwanom's special division is the only one who can handle these kinds of cases. Lemmings was in the same room at the same time, but they didn't know it. All the while, it was invisible and just looked at the footprint. Iwanom is having fun at the bar, even though he went there to ask Clarissa a question. Since he doesn't have a warrant, he can't do more than just ask. He is drunk and begs Clarissa to tell everything, even things that can't be told to the public. But Clarissa is sure that the bar is part of the underworld. Iwanom is trying to do it. To make them angry. The bunny girls think about telling Polka not to be seen with them, but as usual, they are right on time. Iwanom sees that they are too young to be in the bar. Misaki says she will only order milk. Suddenly, Iwanom gets a message from Erase describing the people he saw on the street. Iwanom quickly puts the pieces together and says he will buy juice for the two of them. If they keep him, Karuya sees Erase leaving the police station with a group of officers and going straight to the bar. As Misaki spins. Another one of her long, complicated stories. Polka finds out that the best things he's ever done are tried orange juice. Suddenly, Karuya warns him through the earpiece to leave the bar immediately. But it's too late, because Erase and his team are already there. Misaki notes that Erase is the bad guy who attempted to force himself on her after Iwanom summons him. Despite the joking, Iwanom only wishes to pose 2 questions to the 2 individuals. The lights then go out. However, Clarissa insists that this is not one of their tricks. Polka activates his night vision and tells Misaki to hold on to him, but for the first time he feels fear as he sees Erase and Iwanom, 2 lemmings, on the ceiling. Each perceives the presence and is visibly shaken by it. Clarissa illuminates the ceiling, revealing Lemmings, who then makes a magnificent entrance. He cracked his neck as if preparing to fight. Please subscribe for more videos similar to this one.